welcome to our final show of the week, and that is Fancast Friday. We are here to talk about one of the more unfamiliar lanterns in terms of the pop culture zeitgeist. It is the blue light of hope, and the kind of who's maybe considered the greatest, maybe considered just the icon of the group, who is Saint Walker, kind of what many people categorize as the Hal Jordan of the Blue Lantern team, the Blue Lantern Corps. We are going to be talking about him and fan casting him. We have 5 choices, 3 honorable mentions like usual, and we are going to be talking about a very hopeful man. I am, of course, your host, John, and we will be getting into all sorts of shenanigans today. So, with all of that, of course, I am joined by Dan. Dan, how are you today, and are you happy to talk about Saint Walker?
Saint Walker. I hadn't heard of the character existing until a few days ago, so I'm very interested. The Blue Lanterns is a very interesting concept unto itself, and I bet you James Gunn would be interested in realizing it. We might be surprised to see there are a couple of alien characters potentially in the Lantern show on HBO coming up this year, one of whom could turn out to be a Blue Lantern. Who knows? That's speculation on our part, but John, definitely walk us through who Saint Walker is for those of us who might not know even the idea of what a Blue Lantern is before we get into the fan casting.
So, according to, the character bio is, the character's full name is Brody Walker.
Mm-hmm.
He is a priest living on the planet of Estonia with a wife and 2 children. Estonia is doomed as its ancient sun is dying. Familiar.
Wait, Estonia as in the country Estonia? There's a planet
No.
Okay.
Walker manages to calm his despairing people and give them hope in the face of extinction. With that, a power ring chooses him to become a member of the Blue Lantern Corps, stating that he has the ability to instill great hope. With his ring, Walker sets his son's age back to 8.9 billion years, thereby saving Estonia. So that is how the character of Saint Walker is gifted this great power. He first appeared not too long ago, a little bit less than 20 years ago, in 2008 in Green Lantern Volume 4, number 25. And of course, with he has everything that the blue power ring grants him, flight, light constructs, regeneration, energy blasts, energy aura manipulation, absorption, translator, all that fun stuff. And a fun fact about the Blue Lantern Corps is that I believe that their rings can't work unless a Green Lantern is nearby. I believe that's what it was.
Really?
But that something along those lines. They're very
interesting.
I think that's what it was, if I remember correctly, or if it's like not at their full power. The Blue Lantern Corps is something I'm less familiar with. Like, I know a little bit about the character. I know a little bit about who he is, who the Blue Lantern Corps is. I'm not as familiar with, more familiar with Green Lanterns, Yellow Lanterns, maybe Red Lanterns, a little bit of the Orange Lanterns. Blue Lanterns I'm less familiar with. I mean, hey, it's not like you're asking who the Indigo Tribe is. We would have been really fucked if people were asking us about the Indigo Tribe, because nobody knows a fucking lick of anything about the Indigo Tribe. So, that would be
fair enough.
That would be fucked. But Saint Walker, I know a little bit. I know enough that I think I have a good vibe in who I would cast in this role. And yes, well, at least I don't have to stare at fucking Rowan Atkinson's Joker face anymore. Anyway,
but okay, so the format of the show, if you guys are watching for the first time, whether you're live or after we are live, we're gonna go through our picks. You guys are welcome to suggest your
I
ideas
mean,
in the
you picked
chat
it. Saint
or the
Walker
comments.
was picked.
Yeah.
It just narrowly beat out DCU's Deathstroke.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God Rhino is at the bottom, so I don't have to fucking deal with that shit. I'm like, oh, fucking, you picked Rhino for Spider-Man 5 villains, and then it fucking got second place. Get out of here. And Indigo is compassion. It's compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Star Sapphire is
Mm-hmm.
the Pink Lantern Corps is love,
Yeah.
and that would, I guess, be passion. But yes. Anyway, but yes, you guys voted for Saint Walker, very underrated Lantern member. You know, I think no, I know you didn't, Caleb. It just a lot of people do like Saint Walker. He is definitely a fan favorite character. So
Calling out some particular people out there.
I know Bane will break you. Definitely picked Bane. I know he's probably upset.
Yeah,
Like, why
he's.
didn't you pick Bane?
I mean, look, Deathstroke came real close, 33% of the vote. So I feel like Bane and Deathstroke should come back next week because it's there's potentially that Bane Deathstroke movie somewhere simmering. So that might be something to consider. So,
But yeah, I just love this arc for Caleb. Just him going ham about
all
like just you know
I am indeed a fan favorite character.
like just like him going ham over fucking Saint
Yeah.
Walker of all people. I'm like, all right, I'm cool with it. But
Yep. He also got the same photo that we've been using. So great stuff. It's all good. With it. This is called brand alignment in the marketing world. So, but yeah, as we usually do, John, we're gonna go through our picks. You made the picks. There's 5 main picks. There's gonna be 3 honorable mentions. We'll do the pros and cons, and then we'll give each of them a likelihood meter score that could be from 1 through 10, with 1 being the
yes.
least likely to happen and 10 being the most likely based on what James Gunn and co might think about doing with regard to casting a Saint Walker in the DCU. So, yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah, there's 2 characters in DC, Saint Walker and everyone else. But they are known for hope. That's the Blue Lanterns, John. Why don't you take over? I know you made the picks.
Wanna
So,
know before we get into it? You want to know
hey,
a fun
Eric.
fact? In a non-canonical comic book crossover between Green Lantern and Star Trek, Chekhov became a Blue Lantern.
Of course he did.
I was just going through the Wikipedia real quick because I wanted to make sure I was getting all the information right.
The next
And
thing
I'm like,
you're
that's
gonna
really
tell
funny.
me.
That's
The next
really
thing you're gonna
funny.
tell me is that like Scotty became a Green Lantern. I'm giving it all his God count. It's
I mean, he
yeah.
does like the green stuff anyway.
He d-
Those who know.
Uh-huh.
Those who know.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Eric is like, Elo left my ass up. What is that thing? That is a Blue Lantern you're looking at from the planet Estonia.
That has that has his head the shape of a sperm. That is indeed. Although he's kind of in some iterations he doesn't have the tail behind him, but yes.
Yeah.
So let's get into the very
It's a
first
life-size swimmer, that is.
Well, he can't pick. He got picked by. Anyway.
Yeah.
The first one I have is the most obvious place to speak. Speaking of Star Trek, Doug Jones was on Star Trek Discovery.
I was gonna say he played Saru in Discovery, and
He did.
other characters.
Doug Jones is one of the most famous, like, practical effect creature actors. Him, Derek Mears, Andy Serkis, although that's for the motion capture rather than practical effects. But these guys, they wear these practical outfits. Doug Jones is pretty much the top tier, like, guy. Like, he, Pan's Labyrinth, Hocus Pocus, fucking even garbage like the Bye-Bye Man. He's done it all. He was famously Abe Sapien in the first 2 Guillermo del Toro Hellboy movies. As it says, he's no stranger to comic book roles. Hellboy is, definitely one of those. 2 of those, technically. And he's the guy known for playing all sorts of aliens and creatures with practical makeup and bodysuits. And despite this, the reason he keeps getting cast is not just because he's a big, tall guy and can wear these, like, practical suits, prosthetics, and not mind it. Instead, like, loves being in those roles. he's a very good actor. He's like he has the range to make it work, and he could definitely play someone like Saint Walker. He definitely has that like kind of calming kind of voice. And he I think could really nail this role, and it's not just because he's the guy. I just think he would be good. Like if I didn't think he could do it, I wouldn't put him on the list. So he's kind of the go-to if they ever decide to adapt Saint Walker, which I don't think they ever will anytime soon. It would make sense for it to be Doug Jones. But the thing is, he is getting older. He is 65, and might be harder for him to do these types of roles, like in terms of like
Mm.
practical stuff. I mean, he could eventually do motion capture, but I'm pretty sure he has done motion capture at least a couple times, but he might not be able to, and he might not be interested. He might not be interested in doing something like this, but that's probably unlikely.
I mean, he's an
But in
actor. He
terms
wants to
of
work, right? So,
yeah,
yeah.
and he enjoys doing that sort of thing. So I think that's kind of like a maybe. That's kind of like a big maybe. He's kind of the most likely guy. It's kind of like I would say like it's an 8, like a 9. It's like I know James Gunn really doesn't like to go with the sort of obvious choice for his roles. I mean, he usually likes to go with, oh, this person gave the best audition, or this person, I like he saw something in them, and he usually goes with like he just like I think they're the best person for the job. While I do think Doug Jones is that, there is a little bit of a gap that's like, oh, he might not pick someone who's very obvious, and Doug Jones is kind of the biggest star in terms of the practical creature character actor. So,
No, I mean, I think that's a great pick right out the gates. Doug Jones has done so
yeah.
much work. Like I said, well, Saru and Star Trek Discovery being like one of the most recent ones, it's right there. I feel like he would be perfect, especially if you bring this character in as part of like a TV show, whether it's an HBO thing or otherwise. And nowadays, of course, we know that HBO is going to be in the same house as Star Trek, with Paramount and Warner Brothers merging. So there's and when it comes to relationships between studios and actors, or like producers and actors, it's not that far fetched, but not to say that like Doug Jones he's clearly done a lot of other work too. So, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, it all kind of lines up too with like regards to like the 9 out of 10. I think would work well in the sense that James Gunn prefers practical effects, and he's shown a penchant for that so far because it's a little bit cheaper, and he'd prefer to do that over CGI. That's more so an approach that he would take if he was personally directing and writing the project. But
That could be another one. Dorian
yeah.
Kingy. There was another one. Um, I'm blanking on his name, but oh, he's also
And
someone. I think
hello, figure drawing.
he played Dracula in Last
Mhm.
Voyage of the Demeter. But I'm
I
blanking on
saw
his
that movie.
name.
That movie was interesting and
Javier
very,
Botet.
very,
He's kind of another one of
yeah,
those big lanky guys,
yeah, yep.
creature
Hmm.
actor types. I didn't consider him because he, unlike Doug Jones, who has played roles where he's like talking and actually like played the role, even though for Abe Sapien he didn't voice the character. I believe it was David Hyde Pierce who voiced the character there. But Doug Jones has played, these roles where he's used his actual voice, and, he's, actually acted and not just the physical representation of it. So, um, you know, but yeah, I think he would be. I don't know who played Pyramid Head, but Doug Jones is awesome. I would 8, maybe even a 9. It's just like I think it's just like you know, I don't know if James Gunn would go with the most obvious choice. That's like kind of why I'm not going with perfect 10. But yeah. So the next person I have is a bit out there, but I think due to his proficiency in a different side of it could work. And I have Toby Kebbell, who Dan would know as, one of his one of the actors who was in For All Mankind. He was in the most recent season as Dale. Um, but he has done now. If you aren't gonna do practical stuff, then you would do motion capture. But yeah, I think he has done great motion capture work very well in the past. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, he played Rocket, I believe, or Koba, one of the two. No, yes, I think he played Koba. That's who the villain was. He was really good in that. And I think Toby Kebbell has done very good in motion capture work before. I think he deserves another chance at a comic book role. Fan Stick was pretty bad, but I don't think he was the reason it was bad. He was just pretty much that entire casting crew were the victims of Fox's bullshit and the bullshit of the director. So, Kong Skull Island was another one. So Toby Kebbell has done a lot of motion capture work. So if they want to do more motion capture stuff with Saint Walker instead of it being practical, I think Toby Kebbell would definitely be a great choice. And due to how he plays roles, he could play the role slightly, different than expected. I don't know why I said slightly differently there. Slightly different than expected, or it could be a good challenge to him. Because usually he plays like kind of very grounded, grungy characters, very gritty characters, and Saint Walker is very much not that type, and he usually plays villains very well as well. So, I think Toby Kebbell could do that very well. But the thing is, he might not be interested. That's kind of the case with like all these guys. They might not be interested because I pick very, relatively famous people. So, might not be interested. James Gunn might not be interested in someone so famous. So, with that, he also might be too gruff for the role, and his mocap proficiency might not mean anything in the long run because they might go with practical, or anybody could pick up a mocap device and be good with it. That might be their reasoning. I don't think that's the case, but um, so I think Toby Kebbell would be a good choice. I think Doug Jones would be better, but I think he would be. I'm gonna give him a 6. I think the likelihood. I don't think it's up there. Maybe like a 5, maybe 5.5 in between there. I think it's likely, but not incredibly likely. He might not be want to be in the superhero realm again after his experience with Fan Stick. I'm surprised that people are still the people in that movie still want to act after the fucking problems with how that fucking movie came out. So, I think he would be very good for the role. Maybe not the
Yeah.
greatest, but I think he would be very good.
Well, I think he's certainly upped his profile with For All Mankind in terms because this character you're most likely to see in a TV show before you see him in a movie. In
Yeah.
fact, in the context of maybe even do like a out of left field cameo in Lanterns this year, even. Toby Kebbell, I think, is set to continue in the new season of For All Mankind. So I wouldn't be surprised if he were to. And then he's younger. He's much younger than, like you said, with Doug Jones. So if you were looking to pick somebody who you can kind of like grow with the role, he would make a lot more sense. So yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, like around a 5 or a 6 is what I gave him.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next one I have, I picked David Tennant.
Yeah.
Like, boom. Easy enough. I think he has the body type for the character. Not like that really matters, depending on if they do practical or mocap. Doesn't really matter if you don't get that exact character. But like Saint Walker is kind of a tall, lanky kind of character, and David Tennant fits that very well. He's an incredible actor who has played characters like this before. He's known for playing a hopeful alien, so it's
Of course he
very
is.
still on track with that.
Hey, Red Six
Um,
Dawn.
but with that, I think, you know, uh, with all this, I think David Tennant would be good for the role. Um, but there are some cons. He might be too old. He's 54. Doesn't want to do mocap or practical effects with the role, whatever reason that might be, and he might not be interested. I know that's kind of like a whatever might not be interested. I know that's kind of an easy like con. Um,
Oh, I
but
think it's also, well, he's no stranger to doing TV shows. I think he's involved in a couple of things right now. He
yeah,
always has projects on his docket. It's more, it's just, I think the not interested, I would look at it as more of a David Tennant at this point in his career has the pick of the lot in terms of what he wants to do, and he's certainly under no obligation to do anything to like move his career forward. He doesn't have to prove himself. No, but like, so he's not beholden to anything. He doesn't need to do a role for the money necessarily. So
right.
I just don't think that, like, unless he really likes the role. It's sort of like, like the example, considering talking about lanterns, by the way, hello Bane.
I told you he'd
um
be mad.
and I know. Well, we'll put him back on the poll for next week. But I was gonna bring up the Josh Brolin situation. What was that show that he had on Amazon Prime that got canceled after 2 seasons?
It was
And
like
that's
the
why
Outer Banks or something.
the Outer Range, I think it was, or
The Outer
something. It was
Range.
it was like, Western UFO alien time travel sort of a sci-fi show. I like the show. Um but the reason why Josh Brolin was in consideration, or why he considered the role of Hal Jordan was because he was looking for another TV show. And doing an HBO show, going from Amazon Prime shows, like, it's, you're doing a prestige streaming show. And he ultimately ended up passing on the role because it just didn't work out. And I wouldn't believe when he said it didn't work out was some combination of maybe money didn't work out, but also potentially he looked at the role and he was like, well, maybe I don't want to do the stunts. Maybe this isn't the right role for me at this particular point in time in my career. I don't need the role. I don't want to do something that I'm really passionate about. Maybe just didn't connect with what they have in store for us in Lanterns. And we got Kyle Chandler, which great actor in his own right, but he's not a superstar like Josh Brolin. But so David Tennant, if he were to be considered and then pass on the role, might be in a similar boat where he's just doing other things that it's not so much that he thinks he's too big for the role. It's just something that he's not interested in, and he's not compelled to take on something just because he needs to do it to prove to himself or to Hollywood or anybody else that he's a great actor. He's done it,
Yeah.
been there, done that, and all of it. So I think he's probably going to focus more on roles that he's genuinely, like,
Yeah.
interested in. So
So
yeah,
with that, I think like 5, kind of a little
yeah,
bit less than Toby Kebbell's 6, but I still think it's even odds. I think he could be something, could be interested in something like this, but it's not like, but it's unlikely that they would probably go for someone like David Tennant.
hmm,
But I just think I saw like him, and I'm like, you know what, that would be awesome. That would be great. I think he would be really perfect for that role. So that's why I just ultimately decided to pick him. But I understand, like, oh, he's not like the guy. So
yeah. Yep. I mean, I think even odds is a fair number. Like, it's 50-50. Kind of like maybe Josh Brolin at best was 50-50. And I appreciate what Red Six Dawn is saying in the chat, by the way. The idea of like doing maybe a female version of the character rather than a male. I think I was just kind of mentioning in the chat the idea that we haven't gotten a single screen adaptation, so it's not as relevant that we do get a female or male version, because like whichever way they go, ultimately, like, the audience has no prior version to compare it to. But I don't think we have any female iterations here, but like I don't think that like, if they do that, it's not gonna like offend a ton of people, because it's not like Batman, somebody who's a very well-known character. Um and even like those of us who know about the comics, not everybody has heard
mhm,
about it. So, but
right.
anyway, let's keep on going. Yeah.
But then next up we
Good question,
have
Kevin.
Rami Malek. Again, a very different kind of role, similar, get different actor, similar to Toby Kebbell. With this, I think Rami Malek has a great range that could bring this character to life. He's played very iconic people
Hmm.
with ease, although that was a real life person rather than a comic book character. With Bohemian Rhapsody, but that was like the first thing. I was like, he can play icons and not have it get to him, or like play them with ease. So I think that would work for him. And with that, he has worked with one of the directors of the Lantern show beforehand. He worked with James Hawes, who is directing the first 2 episodes of Lanterns. He worked with him on The Amateur. So I think that's kind of helpful. And I think, I think Rami Malek would be very good for the role. I think he'd be kind of different. Um, and the thing is, problem is he's only known for more prestige projects where he's like kind of more upper brow, kind of like more dramas and period pieces, that kind of stuff, like Mr. Robot and all that stuff. The Amateur was the first like thing he did that was like kind of more gritty, but even then it still wasn't like, you know, wasn't like
Hmm.
a show about Green Lanterns. And I don't think he wants to do comic book movies or shows or anything like that. So there's that. And the thing is, I will say, I think his voice might not be like what I would imagine Saint Walker would sound like. I know that's like kind of iffy, but he does kind of have like a kind of a lower droning kind of lisp to his voice, which I
Hmm.
don't think like I imagine Saint Walker would have kind of like a brighter kind of voice. So but that's just me. That's just how I'm thinking, how I think executives would think as well. But I think Rami Malek would be a great choice. Maybe not the best choice, but I think he would be pretty good. In terms of likelihood, that's probably like a 2 or a 3. Let's say 3. It's just like I don't think Rami Malek would be interested. I don't think James Gunn would be interested in getting Rami Malek, especially for someone like Saint Walker. I think he would want Rami Malek for like a bigger role if he were to get Rami Malek. So, I think he would be great, but just the likelihood would probably be very low.
Yeah, you know what? I totally agree with you. I think Rami Malek also is at a point in his career now where he's not he can choose to do things that he wants to do, likes to do. He's not maybe like quite where Josh Brolin is, but he's certainly not, again, he can be picky with his things. And I am also surprised that he's 44. He doesn't look 44. He's always sort of like looked like a younger person per se. I was gonna like
Yeah.
he's gonna look like he doesn't look like a kid anymore necessarily like he did back in the Night of the
I mean, he
Museum
looks
days,
like
but
maybe 30 at best.
yeah, he
Like,
definitely looks a lot younger than he is, which is great. It's always great in Hollywood. Even that still holds. Um, yeah. Of course, Caleb. There's no bigger role than Saint Walker. So how dare Rami Malek not? You know. Uh,
anyway, but then we get to our final one, which is probably one of my favorites for the role.
all
Again, it's
right.
probably a guy that's too big, but I went with Andrew Garfield. I think Andrew Garfield is the
Damn,
pinnacle.
swinging for the
I
fences.
I think he is the pinnacle and embodiment of the character. I think he has the perfect body type for him. He has the perfect voice. Like like everything about Andrew Garfield just screams Christmas. Where it's just like he's like just something about Andrew. He screams lovely human being.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think the lanky
He's very
body to the
relatable.
slender body type
Yeah.
is perfect. I think his voice is good for it, whether he's doing an American accent or not. Whatever they decide to do, if they ever adapt this character, I don't think he would mind motion capture. I don't think he would mind prosthetics. I don't think he would mind with any of that because Andrew Garfield's fucking chill like that. And guess what? We would treat him better than the shit fucks down the street that didn't bother to give him an Amazing Spider-Man
Ooh.
3. So
Yeah. Um. Wait, are you calling out Sony or Marvel here? Because that's
Sony,
like this.
because
Okay.
fuck Sony.
uh, I mean, look, Andrew Garfield is. It would be sort of a full circle moment. But what did he call Tobey Maguire's? Like, are you gonna do like this whole like what do you call him, like pastor vibe? Like, no, he's got like I got a
The youth
costume.
pastor
The
look.
youth pastor look. I'm like, and isn't Saint Walker, like, what's the name of the character? He's meant to be like a priest or something,
Yeah.
like a monk. So yeah, that would very much be a full circle moment for Andrew Garfield. He's just like, hmm very relatable guy. Like, it's just, I mean, he, I think
But
it's
the thing is, he
just,
might not be interested
yeah,
in DC
yeah.
roles because maybe they're like, oh, I'd like to come back as Spider Man. Maybe he's going to come back in Secret Wars. Maybe he wants to stick with that. He likes Spider Man more. But, like, when I was going through the choice, I'm like, when I saw Andrew Garfield, I'm like, oh my god, that's actually fucking perfect. Like like if there's anybody who is as perfect as Doug Jones for the role, I think it would be Andrew Garfield. Like if they want to go with a name, then they go with Andrew Garfield because I think that would be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I'm buying what you're putting down. I'm buying what you're selling. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Uh, are you going into battle dressed as a cool youth pastor, or do you have your suit and he's like, got it? Those moments, man, it's just like Andrew Garfield single-handedly made me want to see like a full-blown buddy cop Spidey movie. I want to see that. Like I want to see a Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man team up Spider-Verse live action movie. I would totally pay money for that. Like that needs to happen. And then you're like, oh, they did it in No Way Home, but it wasn't their movie, you know? Like they're just there for like the third
And with
act,
that,
second, third
I think
act.
the likelihood, I'm going to be optimistic. I'll be optimistic. I don't care. I'm going to say 7, even though it's more than likely a
Nice.
1 or a 2. I don't fucking care. I'm going to say 7. Because you know what?
Mm.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Yeah. Nice. Yep. Yeah. He was a
He was.
priest in silence.
And
You're
he
right.
stayed true to his values until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Dude, it's just I feel like we have run the gauntlet with these picks, right? Like this is great work. Like all right, I gotta praise you for your choices today.
we got the prosthetic master with
Yep.
Doug Jones. We got Koba, the evil Koba from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Dale from fucking For All Mankind. Not gonna lie, I will say Toby Kebbell's southern accent is actually not half bad. It's not great, but he had almost me convincing me that he was a southern man.
I know, right?
But
And For All Mankind, yeah.
yeah, but Toby Kebbell, we got a mocap master, David Tennant, from the Doctor to the Saint Walker. Then we got Rami Malek, the amateur to Saint Walker. And then finally Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man to Saint Walker. Wouldn't that be interesting? Um, you know. But all right, fucking Elite Easy. Shit, why you gotta fucking shit on my boy Andrew like that? Get the fuck out of here. Indie flicks, you know what? Indie flicks get you fucking actual praise and shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Robert
man.
Pattinson, he wouldn't be Batman today if he didn't do all those movies that nobody saw. For those, I mean,
Yeah.
nobody in air quotes, because clearly the right people saw those movies.
Yeah.
And
But that's our gauntlet. Now we get into our honorable mentions. And I have a couple maybe strange picks. But I picked Anthony Daniels, even though he's way too fucking old. I think
AKA
it would be kind of
C3PO.
funny.
Yeah.
He's the only other practical guy that I thought of. And I'm like, okay, that would be kind of amusing to get another, practical suit master for the role. And honestly, I can envision C3PO being like a Saint Walker type,
Yep.
except less annoying. And then Jim Parsons,
Yep.
he has the body type for it, and he can do
Jim
like
Parsons, yeah.
intelligent very well. I know everybody
I can
hates
see
him because
that.
of Sheldon, but like I think he can
No,
make
and I
that
can
work.
see it. Yeah.
And then Keanu Reeves, he's the beacon of hope in real life. Everybody loves him. He brings
he's practically
hope
a walking
goes.
pastor,
It could work
like
for the
literally.
DCU, so
yeah, Bazinga, say Walker.
all will be well.
All will be well. Or like he says, like he's like, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. Like that would be say Walker. Everybody keeps asking me, am I back? Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. There you go.
You sound like John Wick with a cold.
Because my throat is about to give out. I've been doing this is my 3rd show in a row, guys. Like this is back to back to back.
All right. So those are honorable mentions. Very unlikely. That's why they're in the honorable mentions. But Jim Parsons probably has the closest. But yeah, Bazinga.
I mean, also Keanu Reeves is like trying to get that Constantine sequel off the ground, so I don't think he's in a rush to take on other roles.
That's why I'm like, I just thought it'd be funny because like people love Keanu Reeves and he's like the hope guy.
No, he's like, I want to live Keanu Reeves' life, and he's got all the money in the world from the deals that he signed for the Matrix movies and whatnot. He's set. Like that dude has nothing to worry about. So Yeah. I know, I know, Caleb. I can't believe we're doing this fan casting and it's all working as well as it is. My hopes were this. I mean, also, yeah. Jim Parsons has all that Big Bang Theory money. So, uh, by the way, we do have some of your picks. John, you want to walk through some of the picks that the peoples give us in the chats, and then we could talk about
Yes.
what you guys want to see.
So, uh, somebody enterprising says Tom Sturridge for Dream
Mm,
from Sandman. I have
yeah,
not watched the Sandman show. When I heard it was
I do like
ending
Tom
after two
Sturridge though.
seasons, kind of somewhat prematurely, then I'm like, probably not gonna watch it now. Um,
I
I
can
mean, I'm
see
sure
it.
he'd be good, but I'm not really familiar with him as an actor, so I don't know.
Like he's not done a ton of other stuff, but like Tom Sturridge, I think definitely was breakout. Like and then I think he knows Robert Pattinson or like he boarded with him back in the day in like acting school or something. Like anyway, it was just I could see it. It would be a darker iteration because like he's just got like that emo look going. But then again, so does Robert Pattinson. But yeah, I could see it. He's definitely on the younger side. Well, relatively speaking, on the younger side as compared to Doug Jones at
Then
least.
Jude
So
Law, no, because he doesn't really like doing superhero stuff
even
outside
though
of
he did Captain
fuck.
Marvel,
Even though he did Captain Marvel, he's like,
Scott-
I love how he's like, no, I don't want to be Superman, but I will be this random fuckwad in the Captain Marvel movie. Eat a dick, Jude Law.
I mean,
No, he doesn't. He
they
doesn't.
canceled.
He doesn't deserve to be Saint Walker. Fuck out of here with Jude Law.
I mean, look, they canceled his Star Wars TV show, but then he was in that
Yeah, because
movie
nobody
with
fucking watched it because it was garbage. Anyway,
yes, yeah.
Ewan
Uh,
McGregor, who was apparently on the short list for Green Lantern, Hal
mhm.
Jordan, the alleged short list that is. I did consider him. Then I'm like, they probably already considered him for that, and they probably if he said no to Hal Jordan, he's definitely saying no to this. So, you
Okay.
know, James McAvoy, I could see it. Him doing more heroic. I would love to see more of that. Unlikely, but Adam Driver, I do think that would be a good, very different, but I think he would be good. But that was another one I considered. I did consider Paul
Paul
Bettany, but I'm like,
Bettany,
he's
yeah.
Vision. Leave him that. So
Sandman was a good show, and Dead Boy Detectives. Nah, I wasn't as big of a fan of it.
Dead Boy
But
Detectives was okay, but
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, Neil Gaiman controversies is a big part of why Sandman got canceled, but also that show was extremely expensive for Netflix to produce, so that was a bigger reason why we are not getting any more of it. Um, Caleb, of course,
well, it's
still
not a
James
comic book
McAvoy
movie;
split.
it's a superhero movie technically.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's yeah. I mean, Jude Law like got to be in that movie with Vanessa Kirby and Ana de Armas and Sydney Sweeney last year, so man's doing just fine. I don't know if he needs to be in another superhero movie per se, but yeah.
but yeah. Now
Saint Walker,
we have Saint
Blue
Walker, our
Lantern.
5 prominent choices, then our 3 not so prominent choices. But now for next week, we have to get ready for the next tier
Mm-hmm.
list Tuesday. This hopefully actually on Tuesday instead of Friday,
That's the
but
idea.
that's the idea. So so far, in honor of the new Scream movie, we're like, let's rank all of them. And then if Liz is here, she can judge Scream 7 because she did actually go and see that shit. So we have the Scream movies, then we have Harry Potter movies left over from last week, and then in honor of Project Hail Mary, we're like, let's do some Ryan Gosling movies. And then, with Sinners being on being the underdog of the Oscars, we're like, let's throw Ryan Coogler in there too. Got all the Ryans in there. So, but yeah, don't worry. We'll put Bane on next week, and we'll see.
We'll put up a poll on Tuesday, Bane, for Fancast Friday next week, and then yeah, we'll have Bane in there as an option for you. Uh, Clearly, I mean, we had to do Saint Walker because a very important consequential character in DC, like Caleb is saying here. But yeah, dude, Tier List Tuesday. Victory Mine is Tier List Tuesday voting time. Nice rhyme. I'm surprised that Ryan Gosling is not getting any votes, although that picture doesn't do him any favors, but that's fine.
That's the
It's an
hey girl
early-
meme. Hey girl.
Hey girl. So, Ryan Coogler movies would be fun to do. There's also not a ton of them. I mean, he's still pretty,
I mean,
early
there's
into
not a
his
ton
career.
of
So,
any of these. It would
but
be 7, 8,
mhm,
10, and how many? Like 5 or 6
mhm,
Ryan Coogler movies. So
yeah.
not a lot.
I just love how Caleb's already like, doing the marketing work for like DC. Like it's great. It was great Saint walking with everyone here. I'm like, if DC ever did this, like that would be a thing. Like Saint walking, like let's Saint walk together. Like dude, like really turn him into a legit pastor. Like, I want to see what he does. I want to attend a sermon, by Saint Walker. That would be so amazing. By the way, Fancast and Kilowog, that we could put that on the list because Kilowog is very likely to appear at some point in the
Tomar Ray
Lanterns
could
lore.
be cool.
So yeah. Well, Caleb, if you wanna throw your name in the hat, I'm sure James Gunn would appreciate having you in the audition. So for Saint Walker, Larfleet, I don't know. Is that another lantern?
Larfleeze,
Yeah,
that would be an interesting one to do. Gotta definitely try to do
Herman.
that, but yeah.
Yeah, not so sure about that
Starman.
one.
Oh! Anyway.
Yep. All right, cool. I think this has been a surprisingly fun and amazing episode. I did not have high expectations for Saint Walker, but it's been indeed fun Saint walking with you guys here. We need to make a t-shirt. We need to put that on a t-shirt. Like, let's
Yeah,
Saint
Agent
walk
Orange,
together.
aka the Orange Lantern of Avarice, Larfleeze.
Yep.
We could just do all the
lanterns.
next week is just all like other lanterns.
Yeah.
Since we already have a Sinestro, we could do Atrocitus and Larfleeze and fucking the bitch from the Indigo tribe that nobody fucking knows.
Walking with you Saints together. Yeah, we're just writing the trailer at this point for the future Saint Walker movie. We're just like, it's kind of like stay calm and Saint walk together. We need to make that shirt and then like, hashtag hope on the back or something. That needs to be a thing. James Gunn, please make this happen. Make this happen.
Why would it?
What? I don't know. Star Sapphire is one that we would.
Yeah, I mean Carol
nice.
Ferris. But the thing is, I don't think they're adapting. I don't think they're bringing Carol Ferris because it's like this random bitch that was an original character to the Lanterns show. Yeah, let's have her be the romantic love interest. Okay.
I mean, Purna Jagannathan. Nothing. Like, I'm sure she's gonna do a great job in the role, or she did a great job, and we'll see soon enough. But yeah, never lose hope. It's been great, Saint, walking with everybody on this edition of Fancast Friday. We'll see y'all on the other side of the weekend. Have an amazing next couple of days. Go watch a movie. Go watch several movies, and then talk to us about it on Monday. John, I know you're gonna see a movie or two. I'll see if I can get myself to watch one or two as well, and then Monday we're back with DCU Daily. We'll be live with you guys 5 days a week, starting next week once again, as it is the beginning of March, starting on Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, DCU Daily. Tuesday, Fancast Friday, and Friday. Oh, sorry, Tuesday, Tier List Tuesday. Friday, Fancast Friday. It's too late in the night. We'll see you guys then. Yeah. DC needs all the hope we can get.
100%.
Yeah.
But even then, fuck Tom King, fuck Jeff Snyder, and fuck David Ellison. But remain hopeful, guys. Remain hopeful. That's what Saint Walker would want.